Well, if you have doubts about whether you're ready to retire, you're not alone. Only 21% of workers surveyed by Employee Benefit Research Institute say they're very confident they'll be able to retire comfortably.
Well, so what are the other 79% of workers doing? Darrell Bryant is the president of Bryant Retirement Strategies and host of Retirement Strategies Radio on KFAB.
Hey, he's with us now. Good morning, Darrell.
Hi, Darrell.
Good morning. Good to see you again.
Question.
That is a huge chunk of people in that survey that said they do not feel like they can retire comfortably.
Yeah,
that's scary.
It is, and we talk about that on the radio show really regularly. We had a fella call last week who said, you know what, I feel like when you're talking about this whole retirement issue and being ready and so forth and creating income, that you're speaking directly to me. We have 10,000 baby boomers every day are turning 65 years old, and what we've done is a lot of people just have delayed the math, right? Where am I in relationship to retirement? Mom and dad may not have taught us when we were younger to save and the whole 401k thing because they had pensions and so forth, and a lot of them were kind of pre-401k, and so we've been left not having been encouraged to do a lot of savings. So there's a lot of people out there that are age 60 and have less than $10,000 saved toward their retirement, so they're thinking Social Security only, and we all know that Social Security is problematic, so we have a real big problem. It's kind of an epidemic.
So what are some of the specific things you can do to boost your retirement confidence right now?
I would say the first thing to do is to create an actual plan, right? So once we know what we're doing and what the target is, then that would be, advisable. Then we can start working toward that. In order to create a realistic plan, you really would want to employ an advisor who is very specific to this type of work. In other words, somebody who is specifically works with retirees or those within a few years of retirement every day, who are really nimble and proficient at talking about retirement readiness, Social Security maximization, transition into Medicare and Medicare supplement, and doing the type of calculations and studies that would indicate whether or not you're going to run out of money years down the road. So it's a very important bunch of calculations that need to be done.
It is, and you help people with this every day. Can you share us maybe a story of someone who was unsure about how they were going to retire and what they had and how you maybe helped turn things around for them?
Well, Mike, that happens probably twice a day, to be honest with you, in our office, because folks ordinarily will come to the office. They say, listen, I've saved up a goblet of dollars. What am I supposed to do now? Am I ready? Can I turn this into a stream of income? Am I going to outlive my money years down the road? For one thing that's happened, probably, I'll contrast a couple of people and kind of give you how separated these folks are in their thinking. We have a 59-year-old, couple of gals, 59-year-old lady, wonderful lady, comes to the office, wants to retire at age 60. Because all of her friends are retired, and they may be married, etc. She is not, and we really had to advise that she keep on working and so forth. We just did some basic math and said, listen, here's kind of where you're headed, and here's the benefit of waiting. On the other hand, we have, and by the way, the difference between 66 and 62, for example, is just an enormous difference in a person's readiness. On the other hand, in the same week, we have a gal who came in from an hour or so away, 78 years old. Ridiculously well prepared to retire, and yet she's not spending any money because she really doesn't have an income plan. So that type of conversation happens pretty much all day, every day.
Because people, if you don't know where, like that first point was create a plan and stick to it. If you don't really have a plan, I think a lot of people probably pull back and they say, you know what, I'm not going to eat out as much. I don't know what my needs are going to be moving forward, if I'm going to be ready for it. And so they're reluctant to do anything, but then they're not enjoying their retirement as much either.
Yeah, in retirement, we really believe that retirement should be celebrated and it should be something that you are prepared for, and you go in kind of with a bang and say, okay, now I'm ready to start doing the things that I always wanted to do, right? Well, you can't do that unless the stress level is never going to come down unless we have a very specific plan that is put together by someone who has educated themselves, whether you do that yourself or you hire somebody to do that, or work with somebody, but I can't encourage you enough, work with somebody who is a specialist in this area. It is paramount. You'll know you're working with a specialist, again, when you're talking about that transition. You'll know and again, with the Medicare supplement and social maximization and longevity risk and sequence of return risk, and these types of conversations should be happening. You'll know you're not working with a specialist if all you do is talk about what you had last year and what you have this year and what was my return, et cetera. Well, that's okay, and that's good information.
It's time to transition,
but
though.
it's time to transition into that new phase of life and what we call life after the 401k.
Yeah, and getting some advisement over when to retire. That when is a big question for a lot of people out there, and being prepared is key. And that brings us to a giveaway that you have today. What's the giveaway for?
We do indeed. Yeah, we have a giveaway today. It is Patrick Kelly's Stress-Free Retirement book. Patrick is a wonderful writer. He will help you to, and it's such a simple read too. Patrick speaks and writes the way he just is, and in layman's terms, he'll help you to evaluate risk. He'll put real life scenarios into your line of thinking in terms of, gee whiz, do I really want a lot of stock market risk? Should I really be investing the way I was when I was 25 or 35 years old? Just real life application of a very stressful situation. So it's a great book. We get rave reviews about his book.
The first 20 people to call 402-932-2141 will get that book, but we'll also encourage you to call that number if you're in the retirement red zone. We define that as 5 to 7 years from retirement. Darrell's the guy. We'll say it's all about confidence, so that you've got a plan, and then you can enjoy retirement, whatever that looks like for you, and it is custom to all of us. Darrell, good to see you as
Nice
always.
to see you guys.
We'll see you again next
Great
week.
to see you.
Have a great
Thank
week.
you.
All right,